What if every hour of missed sleep was silently stealing years from your life? Imagine lying in bed, your eyes closed, but instead of resting, your brain is slowly falling apart. This isn't fantasy. This is the terrifying truth. You're living every night. A group of scientists placed healthy adults into a controlled sleep study. One group slept 8 hours. Only 4. After just 6 nights. The 4-hour sleepers showed brain scans nearly identical to early-stage Alzheimer's patients. No symptoms, no warning, but the damage had begun. You feel tired, you feel foggy, you blame stress, maybe age. But what if it's none of that? What if the real cause is that every night you're giving your brain poison by simply not letting it heal? Your body uses sleep to clean itself. Specifically, your brain depends on a hidden system called the glymphatic system. It acts like a night janitor, sweeping away waste, neurotoxins, and the dreaded beta-amyloid proteins. But here's the catch. This system only works during deep sleep. Miss it and the toxins stay. One toxin in particular, beta-amyloid, is the same. Compound found in the brains of Alzheimer's patients. When it accumulates, neurons die. Connections vanish. Memory collapses. Ow. And worst of all, it builds up night after night without you noticing until it's too late. But the horror doesn't stop there. Your DNA, the very code of your life, begins to unravel when sleep is neglected. Every human has something called telomeres, protective caps at the end of chromosomes. The shorter they get, the older your body becomes. Lack of sleep doesn't just shrink telomeres, it shreds them in a landmark study. Researchers found that adults who slept fewer than 5 hours a night had telomeres so short. Their biological age was nearly a decade older than their actual age. We're quite literally dying faster now. Think about this. You look in the mirror and see a tired face. You think, I just need coffee, or maybe I'm just stressed. But beneath the surface, your hormones are collapsing. Your immune system is breaking down. Your brain is withering. The face doesn't lie. There's a reason why sleep-deprived people look pale, swollen, and aged. The skin doesn't repair. Collagen production stops. Growth hormone, your body's master repair signal, drops too. Near zero. Even your attractiveness plummets. In a Swedish experiment, people were photographed after sleeping well and after sleep deprivation. When strangers were shown the photos, sleep-deprived individuals were rated significantly lower in attractiveness, health, and trustworthiness. Your sleep rights, your social value. It's doing it every single night. But it's not just physical. Sleep controls your mind. Deprive it, and your emotional stability shatters. The amygdala, your brain's fear center, becomes hyperactive. Every small stress becomes a threat. Your tolerance crashes. Your patience disappears. At the same time, the prefrontal cortex, the rational part of your brain, shuts down. You can no longer make calm, logical decisions. This is why sleep-deprived people are impulsive, angry, and irrational. In fact, the effects of one night of no sleep are equal to being legally drunk. Think about that. Walking into work, parenting, or driving with the same impairment as consuming several shots of alcohol. But unlike alcohol, sleep debt is invisible. It doesn't smell. It doesn't slur your speech. It's just silently eats away at your mind. There is no such thing as catching up on sleep. That's a lie we tell ourselves to feel better. Sleep debt accumulates. While your body is forgiving, it never forgets. Lose 2 hours of sleep per night for a week. You've lost 14 hours of repair. It's brain function, hormone balance, and immune strength gone. And the worst part, the older you get, the harder it becomes to enter deep sleep. Meaning the time when you most need healing is the time when your body refuses to give it easily. But there is hope. Sleep is not a fixed sentence. It can be reclaimed. When you consistently sleep 7 to 9 hours of high-quality sleep, your brain detoxifies, your DNA stabilizes, your hormones balance, your skin heals, your memory strengthens. You literally reverse aging. Your body rebuilds at night. Your immune system prepares its defenses. Your mind organizes thoughts, stores memories, and processes emotions. Sleep is the most powerful medicine you never take seriously. You invest in diets, you buy supplements, you work out. But without sleep, it's all wasted. Muscle doesn't grow. Fat doesn't burn. Memory doesn't form. And healing doesn't happen because sleep is not an add-on. It is the foundation. It is the one system every other function depends on. You are one decision away every night from giving your body the ultimate weapon. Shut the phone, dim the lights, close your eyes, and give your brain what it desperately needs. Sleep is not laziness. Sleep is strength, and it begins tonight. Asterisk, the transformation that occurs during sleep is invisible. But its absence leaves visible scars. People age without warning, lose sharpness they once had, struggle to maintain their energy not because life is harder, because their rest is weaker. Imagine a world where sleep becomes the ultimate measure of wealth, not money, possessions, but rest. In this world, the richest person is the one whose brain is healed, whose heart is light, whose body wakes without pain. That world isn't fiction. It's already here. Most people just can't access it. You've been taught that to succeed, you must suffer. But true success isn't found in fatigue. It's found in alignment. Your body was designed to thrive with rest. When you deny it, your systems rebel. When you honor it, they reward you. Melatonin, the sleep hormone, begins production hours before bedtime. It's destroyed by screens, noise, caffeine, and stress. In modern life, we fight our biology. We override signals. We stay alert in artificial light, tricking our brain into believing the day never ends. But the body remembers, and the price is high. Sleep debt manifests as weight gain, forgetfulness, short tempers, low libido, poor skin, and chronic pain. These are not separate problems. They are symptoms of a deeper imbalance of a body that never gets to rest. If you suffer from mood swings, look to your sleep. If you struggle with focus, examine your rest. If your energy disappears without reason, count your hours of recovery, not your hours of work. The human brain is the most advanced structure in the known universe. And it shuts down without rest. It slows down. It malfunctions. It panics. Eventually, it dies. Your body has no backup system for sleep. There is no substitute, no pill, no shortcut. Sleep is foundational. Without it, nothing else stands. You can meditate, eat clean, exercise daily, but without proper sleep, your body remains in deficit. You are always chasing energy that never arrives. Sleep is where trauma is processed. It's where the mind lets go of daily wounds. Without it, pain festers, grudges grow. People become trapped in cycles of emotional reactivity. That's why people who don't sleep are more irritable, paranoid, and pessimistic. They can't see beauty. They can't feel joy. Not because it isn't there, but because their brain can't receive it. Sleep is the reset. For every night of real rest, you gain back presence. Your senses sharpen. Your awareness deepens. You respond instead of react. You create instead of copy. You feel alive instead of just awake. This isn't a luxury. It's the natural state of a well-rested human. But modern life has made it rare. Alarms replace sunrises. Deadlines replace dreams. And the soul grows tired. You must reclaim your rest, not by sleeping more hours, but by protecting the hours you already have. No blue light, no heavy meals late, no mental stimulation. Just silence, cool air, and stillness. It's not difficult. It's deliberate. And once you taste the power of deep, undisturbed sleep, you will never want to trade it for anything else. You'll begin to feel younger, stronger, wiser, not because life changed, but because your brain finally had the chance to rebuild. This is your right. This is your return. This is your natural rhythm, remembered. Sleep is the bridge between who you are and who you're meant to become. It's the invisible architect of strength, intelligence, and peace. But when neglected, that bridge collapses, and you are left standing in the same place. Wondering why nothing changes, a tired body can still move. A tired mind can still think, but neither can grow. You may push yourself, drink caffeine, smile through fatigue, but your cells know the truth. Your organs know. Your nervous system screams silently for rest. And eventually, the body stops asking. It starts breaking. That's the warning most people miss. They wait for illness, burnout, or breakdown before they notice the absence of sleep. But sleep never leaves without consequences. It simply subtracts quietly until there's nothing left to give. Every culture that thrives values rest. From siestas to sundown rituals, sleep has always been sacred. Until now we rush, we sacrifice, brag about our exhaustion as if it's a sign of importance. But there is no pride in a dying body. The truth is not dramatic. It is simple. 8 hours of deep quality sleep will do more for your mind, your mood, your longevity than any supplement, any program, any routine. Your dreams matter? Not just the ones you chase by day, but the ones that visit you at night. They are more than fantasy. They are the soul's stories, the brain's processing. It's the unconscious healing in motion. When dreams fade, so does imagination. When rest disappears, so does hope. And the world becomes darker not because it is, but because you can no longer see the light. Sleep restores vision, not just eyesight, but insight. Begin to notice beauty again. You respond with calm. You feel yourself existing, not just functioning. You are more than a task machine. You are a living, breathing, feeling being. And that being requires rest. So ask yourself tonight, what am I running from by avoiding sleep? What am I afraid to face in stillness? Because often the avoidance of sleep is not about energy, it's about emotion, about stillness, about silence. But in that silence lives your answers. Sleep is not empty. It is full of healing, of truth, of realignment. The body knows how to heal, but it can only do so when you allow it. Not while scrolling, not while forcing, only while surrendering. The most powerful things in life come not through force, but through letting go. Sleep is the gateway to letting go of stress, of pressure, noise, of fear. In sleep, you remember who you are beyond roles, beyond productivity, beyond expectations. You are not weak for needing sleep. You are wise. You are choosing to fuel the machine before it breaks. You are choosing to live with depth. It's not just duration. You are choosing to wake up not just in the morning, but in your life. Asterisk, every major system within you waits for sleep like a desert waits for rain. It's not just for hydration, but for life. Your heart, your liver, your skin, your mind, they all prepare each day for the signal that it's safe to rebuild. That signal is sleep. When you delay it, disrupt it, or deny it, you halt their healing. There's a myth that youth protects against the effects of sleep deprivation, but research says otherwise. Teenagers and young adults suffer even more profoundly. Their brains are still under construction. Without sleep, that construction stalls. The scaffolding falls. Attention span shortens. Impulsivity rises. Depression deepens. And yet this is the generation that sleeps the least, scrolls the longest, and suffers the most quietly. But this is not irreversible. Sleep, once restored, brings back clarity. It doesn't take years. It takes consistency. A few nights of proper rest can transform your ability to concentrate, empathize. Remember, sleep increases productivity not by giving you more time, but by giving you better time. sharper time. Time that moves with purpose, not just urgency. Most people don't need more hours in the day. They need more function in the hours they already have. And function comes from rest. Without rest, your immune system becomes confused. It attacks the wrong things. It misses real threats. This is how autoimmune conditions develop when the body is too tired to tell friend from foe. Even cancer risk increases. It's a cancer-fighting antioxidant. When it's suppressed by blue light and late nights, the body loses one of its strongest defenses. Chronic diseases begin silently. And sleep, or the lack of it, often lights the first spark. But sleep isn't just defense. It's offense. It's renewal. It's the reset button for a world that never stops spinning. It tells your body, start again. Try again. Heal again. In that stillness, your skin begins to glow. Your heart rate balances. Your lungs breathe deeper. Your mind organizes chaos into clarity. Problems feel smaller. Hope feels possible. It doesn't take effort. It takes surrender. The courage to choose yourself over distraction, over deadlines, over pressure. There is nothing noble in exhaustion. It's a truly strong rest well. It's a truly wise sleep deeply. The truly successful protect their peace. You don't need to earn your sleep. You were born deserving it. It is not the reward. It is the requirement. And once you begin honoring it, the life you're chasing may finally start to chase you back. Asterisk. The world outside may never slow down, but you can. Your nervous system is not built for constant alerts, endless noise, or perpetual motion. It is built for cycles rise and fall, engage and release, wake and sleep. Without sleep, your nervous system locks into survival mode. Cortisol levels spike. Your body starts fighting shadows. Your mind expects danger. You become hypervigilant, yet mentally exhausted. That is the paradox of burnout, alert but empty. Only deep rest can unlock you from that prison. Your parasympathetic nervous system, often called the rest and digest system, only activates when you allow it. You turn off the lights, silence the world, and let go. Slows the heart rate, restores digestion, balances hormones, and releases tension. If you suffer from chronic stress, the solution is not always doing less. Sometimes it's sleeping more, better, deeper. Even creativity depends on sleep. The greatest ideas often come not during forced effort, but during rest. The inventor of the sewing machine saw the needle design in a dream.
McCartney heard
The melody of yesterday in his sleep. Sleep opens doors your waking mind keeps shut. This is not magic. It's biology. In REM sleep, the brain disconnects from reality just enough to make unexpected connections. It solves puzzles you gave up on, completes thoughts you didn't finish, creates what you can't force. Insomnia is not always the enemy of sleep. It is often the result of trying too hard. The body cannot rest under pressure. It cannot sleep under demand. That is why surrender is the secret. Letting go, trusting the body, creating the conditions, then stepping back. You can't make yourself sleep. You can only allow it. The environment matters. Darkness, silence, cool air, familiar scents, a calm mind. These are not luxuries. They are signals. Signals that tell your brain it is safe to drop its guard, safe to begin the night's internal work. Every time you give yourself this space, your body thanks you. Not with applause, but with clarity, strength, peace, and health. You begin to wake up refreshed, not just awake. You begin to live days with intention, not just obligation. You begin to smile without reason, breathe without tightness, and move without resistance. That is the reward of sleep. Not just rest, but return. Return to balance. Return to power. Return to yourself. Asterisk. You don't realize how disconnected you've become until you finally rest and remember what real presence feels like. Not the artificial alertness from caffeine, not the forced energy from adrenaline, but true, natural awareness, calm, clear, and grounded. Sleep is where that reconnection happens. In sleep, your brain isn't just repairing neurons. It's reconnecting you to who you are beneath the stress, beneath the performance, beneath the identity. It strips away the noise and brings forward the essence, the part of you that doesn't need validation or achievement to feel alive. This is why people who sleep deeply often report greater emotional stability, stronger self-awareness, and a quieter inner world. You're not just rested, they're returned to alignment. There is wisdom in your body, and it speaks loudest in rest. The problem is, we've silenced it. We've taught ourselves to override signals, to work through exhaustion, to smile through burnout, to ignore pain, and we call it strength. But true strength is knowing when to stop. True power is knowing how to protect what keeps you alive. You don't heal by doing more. You heal by doing less, with intention. By honoring the rhythm built into your cells. By stepping back when your body whispers, instead of waiting until it screams. Everything alive in nature rests. Trees go dormant. Oceans ebb and flow. Animals hibernate. The sun sets. Only humans fight the cycle. But you are nature too. And the longer you resist your natural design, the more life slips away. Not in years, but in presence. In clarity, in joy, sleep is not a pause in your life. It is where your life age. In the absence of it, even your perception of time changes. Minutes feel heavy, days feel endless. Life becomes a blur. But with rest, time returns to shape. Moments slow. The world becomes vivid again. You can taste your food, you can feel music, you can connect deeply. Because your nervous system isn't surviving, it's living. And from that place, everything changes. You don't need new goals. You need new energy. You don't need more time. You need more clarity. Sleep is the root of both. You are not far away from your breakthrough. You're just tired. And when the tiredness lifts, when you begin to sleep with purpose, the world itself begins to shift. Not because it changes, because you can finally meet it fully. Awake, whole, unshaken. You no longer chase motivation. It flows through you. You don't struggle for discipline. It arrives gently, with clarity. The fog clears. The heaviness dissolves. The smallest tasks no longer feel like burdens. They become effortless, natural extensions of your restored mind. This is what sleep returns to you, your power. In a rested body, your intuition sharpens. Your inner voice becomes audible. Decisions become obvious. You stop second-guessing everything. You stop questioning your worth. You stop needing so much from the outside, because everything you need within you is alive again, no longer running on fumes. You begin to create, not out of urgency, but out of overflow. Not to prove something, but to express something. Your work becomes better, your relationships deeper, your life more vivid, and you begin to trust rest, not as an escape, but as a strategy. As the most powerful investment you can make in every area of your existence. Your past pain begins to make sense. Not because it vanishes, but because your mind has the energy to process it. Your future fears begin to shrink. Not because the unknown disappears, but because your nervous system isn't flooded anymore. You can think clearly now, feel fully, live bravely, all because you chose sleep, and so, now, you begin to protect it. Fiercely, you say no to late-night distractions. You choose peace over noise. You make your room a sanctuary. You build rituals around rest, not out of trend, but out of reverence, because now you know it's not just sleep. It's a portal to healing, to creativity, to joy. And you will never again treat it as optional. The moment you prioritize. Sleep, you begin to dismantle every lie that told you rest was weakness. You rewrite the narrative that exhaustion is noble, that burnout is ambition, that being constantly busy means you're valuable. No, your value was never in how much you could endure. It was in how much of yourself you could preserve, protect. And present to the world, fully alive, sleep gives you back what stress stole. Your voice becomes steady. Your emotions soften. Your dreams, the ones you left behind, start calling you again. And this time, you have the strength to answer. You'll notice how your mornings feel different. You wake without dread. You feel the air on your skin. You look in the mirror and see someone coming back to life, not because they've done more, but because they've finally done less with intention. The to-do list doesn't scare you. The people around you don't drain you. Life feels spacious, not because it changed, but because you did. And it all started with something as simple, as human, as sacred as sleep. This is the quiet revolution, not loud, not flashy, but transformative. You go to bed tired and wake up unrecognizable, a clearer thinker, a better listener, a more loving parent, a stronger creator, a more focused soul, and the world responds. People notice. Opportunities open. You begin to move with ease instead. A force, you lead with calm instead of chaos. You build from a place of clarity instead of panic. Your sleep becomes your power source. Renewable, reliable, and infinite if respected. And over time, what once felt difficult, joy, focus, connection, resilience, becomes your default. Not because you changed your life, but because you changed your nights. Asterisk, and now, every night becomes a ritual. Not just a habit, but a sacred act. The world dims, and so do you. You no longer resist the pull of rest, you welcome it. You no longer fear the silence, you crave it. You no longer see sleep as something to fit in, but something to build around. Because you've felt what it's like to be whole again, your evening routine becomes armor. The lights go low. The noise fades. The mind slows. The body prepares. This isn't discipline, it's devotion to your health, your peace. Your future, you start making different choices. You say no to what drains you. You say yes to what restores you. You no longer chase stimulation because you're no longer trying to escape exhaustion, and people notice. They ask what changed, why you look different, why you sound calmer, why your energy feels clean. They assume it's a diet, a secret habit, a mindset shift, but the truth is simpler than that. You sleep. You sleep without guilt. You sleep without delay. You sleep without interruption. And that one decision starts to compound. Each night builds upon the last. Your body remembers. Your mind remembers. Your soul remembers what it feels like to be aligned. You begin to trust your pace. You move slower, but with purpose. You stop measuring your worth by your productivity. Stop equating tiredness with effort. Start listening inward. And in that listening, you hear the message your body has been whispering for years. Thank you. Thank you for returning. Thank you for honoring this vessel. Thank you for finally understanding. Rest is not the end, it is the beginning. Asterisk, asterisk. So now, you no longer fight the night, you welcome it. You treat your evening like a sacred boundary between what you gave the world and what you keep for yourself. The bed is no longer a crash site, it's a sanctuary. You lie down not to escape the day, but to prepare for the next. Not to collapse, but to rise again, restored, and in that stillness, something beautiful happens. Your breathing deepens, your muscles soften, your thoughts slow. The body, once tense and alert, now melts into surrender. The mind no longer resists, it releases. This is not sleep. This is a return to self. You no longer wake up angry at the alarm. You rise before it rested, calm, ready. You greet the morning not with dread, but with gratitude. You begin to see mornings as openings, not obligations. And over time, you begin to notice you've become someone new. Not louder, not busier, but steadier, more focused, more at peace. Sleep has shaped your edges, refined your impulses, smoothed the noise, strengthened your boundaries. It has become your secret advantage, invisible to most, but undeniable in its effects. This isn't just better sleep. This is a better life. One where you are no longer surviving on willpower, but thriving on renewal. One where your mind is clear, your body is light, your heart is open. One where you finally understand that the most revolutionary thing you can do in a tired world is rest deeply, and so you rest every night, again and again, because now you remember you don't need to burn out to shine, you just need to sleep. Asterisk, and from this rhythm of true rest, new reality begins to emerge. You stop overcommitting. Stop apologizing for needing time. Realize that protecting your peace is not selfish, it's sacred. You no longer trade sleep for approval, for deadlines, for distractions that leave you emptier than before. Now you protect the quiet hours like treasure. You turn off the noise. You slow your breath. You let the world fall away, because you know. In sleep, everything you've been chasing is already arriving: energy, healing, focus, joy, resilience, all quietly weaving themselves into your cells while you surrender to stillness. And even when life throws chaos your way, you don't collapse, you recalibrate. Because your rest has built reserves within you, strength beneath the surface, calm in the storm. You no longer live on the edge. You live from your core. Sleep has made you unshakable. You're no longer driven by urgency, but by clarity. You don't rush. You don't react. You respond with presence, with wisdom, with awareness. Because your brain, fully rested, sees what others miss. You begin to choose deliberately, to move slowly, to speak intentionally. Your days no longer feel like survival, they feel like creation. And night after night, sleep becomes your silent partner. It asks for nothing but trust. And in return, gives you everything you were meant to be. This is no longer a routine. It's a way of life, a rhythm, a return, a remembering. That you were never designed to run on empty. You were made to rest, to rise, to live. Asterisk, and so the remembering spreads, not through doctrine, not through preaching, but through presence. People begin to feel it in you, this quiet strength. It's a deep calm, this unforced power. They ask what you've done, expecting an answer wrapped in effort. But there is no effort, only alignment. You've come back to your natural state, rested, balanced, fully human. You begin to teach others not with words, but by example, by choosing stillness in a rushing world, by choosing silence over noise, by honoring the wisdom of sleep when everyone else is chasing fatigue like a trophy. You become a mirror showing what's possible when we stop running and start remembering. That our worth was never in how much we could do without breaking. It was always in how deeply we could care for what allows us to be whole. And now, every time you lay your head down, you're not escaping life. You're stepping deeper into it. Because this is the real beginning. Not the alarm clock, not the next task, but this moment of surrender, of peace, of sleep. You close your eyes, and your life opens. Asterisk, there is no applause, no spotlight, no audience, only darkness, only breath, only you. Returning, the world outside will keep spinning, keep screaming for attention, for performance, for urgency. But you now are untouched by it. Because you've remembered a deeper rhythm, one that doesn't rush, one that doesn't collapse, one that doesn't break. You fall asleep, not with heaviness, but with trust. And in that trust, your body repairs, your heart slows, your mind quiets, your soul expands. This is not the end of your day. This is the beginning of your becoming. Night after night. You lay down not because you're weak, but because you're wise. And in the silence of sleep, you are not doing nothing. You are doing the most important thing. You are healing. You are transforming. You are remembering what it means to truly live, not in pieces, not in performance, but in wholeness. And now, as the world fades behind you, you rest, not to escape, but to rise. Asterisk. And when you rise different. Not rushed, not restless, but real. Rooted, there is no panic in your breath, no chaos in your chest, just presence, just power, quiet, certain power, the kind that comes not from proving, but from pausing, not from forcing, but from flowing. You move through the morning like it belongs to you because it does. You no longer need alarms inside your soul. You no longer need caffeine to feel alive. You no longer need noise to fill the silence. Because you are full, because you are enough, because you are rested. And as the sun touches your skin, You feel it not just light, but permission. Permission to begin again. To build from overflow, not emptiness. To create from peace, not pressure. To live, not just survive. You greet the world not with fear, but with presence. Not with armor, but with openness. You know now, the life you've always wanted doesn't begin with a goal. It begins with sleep. And last night, gave yourself that gift. Asterisk. And because you gave yourself that gift, today unfolds differently. You walk slower, not out of laziness, but out of presence. You speak softer, not out of fear, but out of depth. You listen fully, not because you're trying, but because you're able. Your mind no longer jumps. Your heart no longer races. Your body no longer begs. Everything that once felt hard now flows. Not because life became easier, but because you became rested. The sharp edges have softened, the fog has lifted. You're not bracing anymore. You're breathing, and the people around you feel it. Your calm becomes their calm. Your steadiness becomes their anchor. Your peace becomes permission for them to rest too. This is how healing spreads. Not in revolutions, but in restorations, not through noise, but through stillness. You become a quiet example that sleep is not a luxury, not a weakness, not a reward. It is the beginning of everything. And as day turns to dusk again, you don't dread the night. You welcome it because you know tomorrow's strength is born in tonight's surrender. And so, once more, you return to rest, not because you're tired, but because you are wise. Asterisk. And this time, as you prepare for sleep, there is no resistance, only reverence. You no longer see it as the end of the day, but as the sacred start of restoration. You've shifted from surviving your nights to honoring them. This is your ritual now, your rhythm, your return. The world outside may still chase, still scream, still burn itself out, but you are done with that. You choose stillness over speed. You choose quality over chaos. You choose depth over distraction. You dim the lights. You quiet the mind. You let the body speak. And what it says is clear. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for remembering. Thank you for coming back to what matters most. Because in a world that forgets, you remembered sleep is not just for the body, it is for the soul. Each breath now slower, each thought now softer, each heartbeat now wiser. And as your eyes close once more, you do not drift away. You arrive in the deepest part of you, where no noise lives, where no pressure exists, where only peace remains. This is your power. This is your protection. This is your protection. This is your return, and so in the silence, you sleep. Asterisk, asterisk.